The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a pencil drawing of my idea. I'm drawing pretty light so that I will be able to go over it with Sharpie and ink my lines and then go back over it when I'm done with the Sharpie with an eraser. And with the eraser, I'm going to go back and erase all of my pencil marks so that all I'm left with is a pretty neat black and white design with no pencil marks on it. When I'm done with my drawing, I'm going to take a photograph with the best camera that I have, which in my case at my house is my phone. From my phone or whatever device I took the picture with, I'm going to put that image into my Google Drive. That's where I store all of my files for school, and that's an easy place for me to access from the internet. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the website Clecky.com, which is a digital illustration and image editing program, and I'm going to click the little folder icon with the paper in it to import my image. And I'm going to choose to import it as a layer because I'm going to be playing with layers in my drawing. I notice that my image is a little bit dark. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click the word edit and I'm going to go to the brightness and contrast and I'm going to drag those sliders around a bit and so that I can see if I can get my image to look a little bit brighter than it currently does. It looks a little bit kind of dark. I'm much happier with the look of that. So then I'm going to click crop and I'm going to get rid of the outlines of my notebook. You can see the spirals there, and I really just want to focus on the image. So I'm going to click crop. I'm going to drag the slider bars down and drag it so it's just surrounding my image. Next, I'm going to be creating a few layers. First, I'm going to copy my photo layer, so I have two versions of the same one, so I always have one good one I don't mess with. And I'm going to make a new layer on top of all of my drawings. So when I'm drawing and coloring on this, I'm not messing with my original drawing at all. You can look in the top right there under the layers tabs. I have layer 4, which is my clear layer, and then I have two copies of the same image. That's how I like to work. It's not the right way to do it, but that way as I'm working, I have some control over whether or not I'm messing up my original drawing. Now I'm going to go in and try to find the perfect brush size. That one is too small, so I just drag the size up so I can find a nice big brush to start coloring in, and I am drawing on my clear layer on top of everything else. So now I'm going to fill it in. And I'm going to use the big brush for the big areas. And as I get smaller, I will make my brush smaller so that I can get into those tight little areas. Spot on my original inked drawing where I kind of messed up and the stuff doesn't flow. So I just go in and I correct it. No big deal. And now I want to test my work in progress. This is the really cool trick. I'm going to drag my top layer, my drawing layer, underneath my copy of my drawing. Right now it's totally blocking my picture, but then I'm going to click the blending, and instead of normal, I'm going to click the word multiply. And what that does is it's going to make my black drawing show up as basically like a clear overlay. So only the black lines show up on top of my drawing. So that's how I'm going to be able to keep my illustration and the lines on top. And I can play with the layer opacity to make it brighter or lighter. You can see I'm using the slider bar to control how light and dark each of those layers are. Work ahead a bit, and I'm going to I've drawn in the outlines of what I think the continents of planet Earth might look like on their own layer. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to fill in those lines, and then I'm going to try to use the paint bucket tool to just be able to drop paint directly into it so I don't have to hand color those in. When you're using the paint bucket tool, you want to make sure you have complete shapes because if there's any openings in your shapes, the paint bucket tool is going to color in your entire thing. And I noticed that there's a little bit of a fuzzy white outline there, so I'm going to play with the tolerance and increase it just a bit so it fills more of my shapes in. I'm pretty happy with how this looks. I probably wouldn't be if I looked at an actual map, but now I can see that my layers are working out the way that I like them to. I'm going to color in, I'm going to erase a little bit and clean up some of my areas, and I'm going to color in the popsicle stick, and then I'm going to add a background to it. I want it to look like a planet floating in space. And I'm doing each of these things on a different layer, so if I'm ever unhappy with it, I can erase that layer and not erase my whole drawing. Once I'm happy with my image and I feel like I'm close to done with it, I'm going to click save, and save is going to save it temporarily, only one drawing at a time, to my Google Chrome in case I want to come back and make more changes. And I can also click the download button and save that image to my Google Drive. That I've saved my image to Google Drive, I can go back into Canva and I can click uploads, and I can click upload media, and it will ask me, well, what do you want to upload? And I will click, I want to upload something from my device, and it's going to look on my Chromebook for the image I just uploaded. And I know that it saved it into my drive, so I'm going to scroll down. Clecky will name your files with the word Clecky in it. So rather than digging, I just went and typed the word Clecky in so I could find the image it put in there. And I'm going to click open. And now it's brought my image into Canva so I can start to play with it and add text and other things to my illustration. And I'm done.